This is Jump and Shoot playing Legend of Zelda, the biggest cheese in the room, and I have got a bone to pick with myself. And the reason for that is a couple recordings ago, I said this. For every one of these fucking kinds of videos, there's another one that just says it's good. What's it say? I firmly believe could have been. It could, and real money, it would be better than Alien. Okay, this came out before. Okay, 2 years ago. You tricked me. It's complaining that it pretends that Emerald didn't exist. I don't know what that means. And now I've actually seen most of this video, at least the second one, the one that says that Pokemon Auroras is an underrated gem. There was one section I was interested in what they cover, but actually, first of all, the benefit that this video has in me actually looking at it is that it's just an hour, and he breaks it up. He has each section, I guess, like kind of like the other video too. But the point is, it's an hour. It's not no 7 hours, 11 hours. Like, you spend your half of your day watching this fucking video. God damn. Anyway, but they cover a lot of the stuff that I also thought was good about this game. Like, the first parts are just them with their connection with the game, like how they were looking forward to and everything. But they talk about the updated cutscenes and the characters, the region, the rivals. They talk about the new versions of Team Aqua and Team Magma. Like, you get like new Archie and Maxie and Shelly, and I forget the other chick's name, Kathy. I don't know. He talks about the music, which is a good plus. The actual functional Pokédex that works on the field, and it's good. The fact that you have access to the newer Pokemon, like up to Gen 6, and it actually sprinkles them around the region, and it's fun to like find where they put them. And then the whole section where you can fly around, that has like depth to it too. You can find random Pokemon in there. You can, a lot of the stuff that I agree with. But the main thing I wanted to get to was the part where they go to the lack of Emerald content. And that's the way he starts off this video, which dissuaded me from even looking at it. Because he starts it off by saying, these games have the potential to be great, but they pretend that Emerald didn't happen. And I will admit, my initial beef with that statement was that I assumed that he meant the story, and I thought, is this yet another person who cares about too much about the story in Pokemon, so much so that he's gonna say that the remake of this is bad? And it's like, no, that's not what he meant. He just meant like mechanically. And then I tried to equate it by being like, oh, well, fucking the Heart Gold and Soul Silver, forget that Crystal happened. The only thing that happens at Crystal is blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter. I was wrong. And to the world and to the next 5 presidents, I'm sorry. Dude, what? Excuse me? Oh, you can't do this. You're just a little bird. Arrgh. Oh, I knew you couldn't do this. I knew it. I knew you couldn't do this. Okay, well, you really need like guts to be active for this Pokemon to be good. It's kind of tragic. But yes, they were just talking mechanically, and I feel like a jerk for doing that. But okay, so what did this update say? Missing Emerald content. He mainly means that the gym leaders don't have their updated teams. Like, I guess I forgot this in Emerald. When you fight gym leaders for the first time, they have like more Pokemon on their team to deal with. Kind of like how the challenge mode in Black 2 and White 2 like the essentially the hard mode, they have added Pokemon for their gyms too. You can't re-fight the gym leaders. That's, yeah, it is disappointing, but like, what are you doing it for other than experience, is my opinion. And then by the end of the game, like, you're just battling the Elite Four over and over again for the experience. Like, what else are you doing it for? And sometimes it is cool to fight the gym leaders again. You get to see their fully fledged, like, updated team with the incorporating newer Pokemon in it. I get it. It was there in Platinum. It was there in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. It was there in Black 2 and White 2 with the Pokemon World Tournament. I get it. Am I that bothered by it in this particular remake? No. No, I am not. There's no champion Wallace. So, yeah, in Emerald, Steven is not the champion. It's Wallace. And then, since this is a remake of Ruby and Sapphire, Wallace is not the champion. So, I mean, I don't think that's a shock to me, honestly. The Battle Frontier, obviously. And then some other, like, things that would have been better if they had been changed, kept from Emerald. Like, since you are dealing with Team Aqua, Team Magma, you go to their base in Lily Cove, in the original ones, and it's like, what? Why is Team Magma's base in Lily Cove, which is like off to the sea? That makes no sense. So in Emerald, there's a separate section kind of behind, I think, Lava Ridge Town or something like that, where there's like an underground cave, which is a new like area for Emerald, and that's where Team Magma's new base is. It makes more sense, like, just narratively. And I get it. And actually, I have my browser open right now. This motherfucker, whoever this guy is, Gurium Red, it has 1 million views. It's just, the video is called Why Modern Pokemon Sucks. Like, don't even get me started on that. I'm not even gonna touch that. Just like the complete blindness to it all. I don't know. I would say I can't say that they all suck. It's just these guys, these Game Freak guys, they just they bother me. They bother me so much. Just, and this is another problem with the fact that this is a remake of Ruby and Sapphire instead of Emerald. Ever since they started doing like the third iteration of a game, like Yellow, Crystal, Emerald, Platinum, these are all the definitive versions of these games. Why are you remaking the 2 side games? I guess even though they came first, like, why are you remaking the inferior versions of them? Like, what is the point of that? So they're remaking Ruby and Sapphire with like some of the stuff intact from Ruby and Sapphire, so it makes sense to me that the stuff from Emerald wouldn't be there. Do I like that? No, but then they would just have to remake Emerald then to fix all that. And if you remake Emerald, then I don't know if you can incorporate like you know, some of the newer stuff with Rayquaza, and you would have to incorporate like, because in Emerald you have to take down like both Team Magma and Team Aqua, if I recall. And I don't know, it was just, they would have to figure that out. That's not for me to do. What do I want my secret base to be? What do I say when I'm happy? I say fat. I'm so fat, I'm so happy, fat. And yeah, the secret bases are better in this game too. And if I could take a guess to what that why modern Pokemon games suck is going to say, is the thing what Game Freak does is they keep like sowing and reaping these cool mechanics in every game, like putting something in, taking it out. And it's like, I've even said this a long time ago, Pokemon doesn't build on itself. They have to somehow, it's repetitive and both reinvents the wheel every single time. I don't know how they managed to do that. Because it's repetitive in the fact that, like, oh, it's always a game where you get badges, you do be champion, you do this, you do that, you just a starter, there's this, there's always this. But then it's like, oh, you remember from the last game where your Pokemon could follow you? We're gonna take that out. Remember from the last game you had this mechanic? We're gonna take that out and make a new one. Oh, you remember in this game you had a bike? We're gonna take that out and give you like ride animals. Just, would it kill them to include some of the cool stuff from previous games? And then like, or remember, like, you like this cool battle facility, the world tournament? Like, the next Pokemon game should have, it sounds like a tall order, but it should have your Battle Frontier, the Pokemon World Tournament, the Battle Mason, if you really want it, some of the, like, the newer Battle Frontier stuff, like a fun post game to do, like online, like a lot of that stuff. It should have like most of the stuff they've been introducing in all these other games. It can have like the park where your Pokemon can follow you from Platinum, which I don't think is that cool, but you know, some people like that from Platinum. It should have the Dream World. It should have like a lot more stuff going on, and like the beefiest, I don't know how to explain this. Like, the next Pokemon games should be progressively beefy. You know, they don't build on each other. And some people are okay with that. Like, I don't care. And I realized I kind of sounded like I didn't care when I was talking to a friend about like some of the missed changes from Emerald, from these remakes. Like, there's, you know, some of the stuff I don't really care about. And I have been there where, like, there's stuff I care about, I'm telling to somebody else, and they're just like, I don't care. I like the new Pokemon. I don't care. I'll eat my Pokeslop no matter which package it comes in. And it's just, like, it's disappointing. But I will say, like, you gotta recognize game. And I think this is a good game here. Yeah, I mean, I'll cover some more stuff when I get to it, but, like, I just wanted to readdress some of the stuff I was complaining about people say in like a previous video in this Let's Play so far. Actually, I just realized like the Pokeblock minigame is kind of absent from this, which is weird since you thought they would have found a way to like incorporate that minigame into this. Would like, it would be better with a touchscreen, I guess. It's better, yeah, because when you go there, when you go to a contest hall, I think that's where they were originally. You can find the old man there, and he's like, "Oh, this is where we used to use the Pokeblock making machine. Is not in use anymore. This makes this old timer sad," or blah blah blah, whatever he says. And which is weird, because even all the way up to Platinum, they still had the, what do you call it, the Poke Wafer mini game, where you mix stuff on the screen and you have to, it's like a mini game where you have to mix berries together in a pot and you have to stir it right. And there was a whole like game in that in itself, and like that was fine. Like, why don't they do that again? They could have done something else here. You know, actually, what else I forgot from Platinum is the or like the Gen 4 era with like the Gold and Silver remakes, is that that online like hub area where you could play mini games with the people you were connected with. You couldn't like message each other directly, but you could like use like the sticker function and use it in a live way. You could play like the Swalot mini game. You could do a lot. There's so many stuff like they could have been including. It's just they give these games like one idea and they don't bring it forward. And sometimes it's like, okay, some ideas should stay in the past. Such as, I think mostly just inconvenient stuff. Oh, you need Shadow Snake for sure. I can't take off cut. Like HMs. HMs have been gone. They fixed that. We don't need that anymore. I don't know why they brought back the the non-permanent TMs, like the disposable ones. Like, I was talking to someone else about this. It's so weird that they go backwards to doing that in Scarlet and Violet. Like, I thought we were finally past. You treat TMs like sacred objects you find in the wild, and now they're just part of your repertoire of stuff to use. But in order to make the open world aspect of Scarlet and Violet fun, you had to like harvest materials from catching or defeating Pokemon, and then they use that to be like, oh, here's a way to farm TMs now. This is why they're disposable, because you get like muck goo or Dodrio hair from the field, and they have to use those to construct the craft together the TMs. Like, it's one of those things that's like an open world games that they had to put in there to merit its existence. It's like, oh, that's what kind of I don't like about it. Like, having permanent TMs is so much better in any context. I don't care anymore. Like, it's been too long. Why are we going back to that? Sure. I got a allotting evolution today. I kind of just glossed over Swallow's evolution, kind of because like it's like whatever. That's not who I'm looking forward to using. Like, these are all bad Pokemon except for Mudkip. We got Vigoroth. I know Vigoroth is kind of good up until he becomes slacking. Like, what you could do is just give Vigoroth like a good item. And then, maybe the Eviolite, if you really want to. There's this new instrument that I'm hearing in the song that I never heard on my DS. It's like... Going back to just, like, missing stuff from previous games. Like, not like... missing stuff, but like the feeling of, oh man, I missed that has stayed with me like throughout all Pokemon. Like, man, I missed when this happened, I missed when that happened. Back to the fact that these are remakes of Ruby and Sapphire. Like, yeah, they could be doing a remake of the definitive version, which is like the third iteration of most of these games, like Yellow, Crystal, etc. But I think in a financial reason, they don't do that because they want people to be buying 2 of every like region every 2 years or so. They want everyone to be like buying 2 versions of the game, and so I think on the surface level they say like, oh, it's to promote like connectivity and mingling with like kids and people who play this game. Like, oh, you need a reason to like interact with somebody who has a different version. But I think we're past that. We need to stop doing that. Like, there should just, I think I've tried to say in a different video, like, there should just be like a series of choices that curate your experience with that game, that would substitute it for being 2 different versions, like 2 full priced games, like 2 separate full price games for no reason at all. When you could just like include, you know, everything that needs to be in it the first time around, and then you can like update that game as you go on. Fuck, I didn't mean to do that. You can update that game with like DLC or expansions or whatever the fuck you want to do, as long as it's that first iteration. That's like, I think we're just better for that. Are they gonna do that? No, because they want money, and of course they do. Pokemon would probably suffer as a game series if people were just buying 1 game every release. You know, I get it, but I don't like it, is what I'm saying. Aeron, I love Aeron. I love Aeron. Aeron is a cool Pokemon for cool people. I kind of lost track of what I was saying, but to keep the topic on hand, which is just, you know, what that guy was saying in the video, I kind of like what that guy was saying about how they could have, instead of doing nothing, they could have come up with new battle facilities, like kind of like a new battle frontier for like the, not like the one in Gen 4 or Gen 3, but just like a new one. They could have carried over into like other games, because there are weird, like, not even facilities, but just weird places in this version of Hoenn, where to kind of like, this could have been like a place in like the new battle frontier, where he's talking about the inverse place in the new Marvel place. There's one that introduces like inverse battles for you know, it's the one where like the super effectives are now like immune, and then the not very effectives are now like super effective, stuff like that. Also, there's a place in that town where it's like you're in like a kitchen or a cafe, and the goal is to do as many battles as you can before like eating your meal, in quotations. Like that could have been a facility, like stuff like that. Like, you know what, I agree. Instead of doing nothing, they could have done that. But all in all, in this video, like the things I look for in a good remake are just, you know, the quality of life changes, maybe some of the difficulty changes or accessibility, or like having access to like the newer stuff within this game, because I kind of like the fact that you can kind of migrate to each new game that comes out. You can't really do that. Oh shit, I blew up my mic. You can't really do that in let me do that. You can't really do that in like most new Pokemon games without sacrificing like most things. Like, cause they've started taking out moves, they've started taking out items, certain items we can't have anymore. What else? Like certain Pokemon still aren't around. You can't just like, I like the idea that I could migrate all my Pokemon to a new game and then just kind of like live in that game for a while. Yeah, it's just the chain of time stops there. Like, let's say if you migrated from like Gen 3 to Gen 4 using the Pow Park, and then from Gen 4 to Gen 5 using the that game's version of the Power Park, and then Gen 5 to Gen 6 using the Poke Transporter in your 3DS, and then Gen 6 to Gen 7 just like trading your 3DS or using Pokemon Bank. Like, it stops there. You stop at Gen 7. You can't bring anything forward from Gen 7. It sucks. Who are you? You Yumps. I see you're that trainer. I'm very smart, and my name is Lynette. You can use this PC if you want. I'm gonna walk over this way. But yeah, the things I look for in a remake, it's just like kind of nice stuff like that. Also, I got Slugma. I was gonna use one of these Slugmas, but I don't like either of these. Let's see, Lax is plus defense minus special defense. Let me see something real quick. Okay, well, Magcargo has higher defense than it does special defense anyway. I think if I was ever gonna like use a Magcargo like seriously, you would have to take into account like, oh, it needs the special defense from Sandstorm. So you need the ability that just reduces speed and then gives it to something else. I don't need you anymore. And who else do I not need anymore? You're staying. You're staying. You're staying. I don't really need you yet. Alright, these guys are gonna go far. You can stay in the lead, I guess. I'm kind of done using Swampert Face. Alright. Yeah, it's just those things, those quality of life changes, and then some of the newer stuff that has been added to this game, instead of like trying to be faithful to it faithful to like Emerald, they kind of saved this remake for me. And yes, it would be nice if like some of those smaller things were here, but like if now that they're gone, I kind of don't miss them. Like, I've learned to move on and just enjoy the game, which I can't do with some of the newer stuff, ironically. Which is how other people enjoy Pokemon still. They learn to let go of everything. It's like, well, at least I have this game to return to. That's what we should be paying attention to.